inside the blue box. I don't know how many of you have already seen the documentary on YouTube, but we're going to be watching that today. The TARDIS. You find them in gardens, yards, inside libraries, and people's homes, even painted on front doors. Large blue boxes marked Police, Public Call Box. This is how Sarah Buck, creator of this snapshot of movie and lore, first introduces her piece. Inside a blue box is an introspective into 3 people who have gone to the length of building a TARDIS and their reasons for doing so. It is a celebration of Doctor Who, its fans, and perhaps even inspiration for people out here in the audience who would like to build their own. So, I am Caesar. I am going to shut everyone up today. Let's do the rest of the introductions. As we go down the line, please introduce yourselves, and what was your first Doctor Who experience?
Hello, my name is Sarah Buck. I made the film that wasn't already obvious already. Oh geez. I think that for my first really full Doctor Who experience was, because I'd watched episodes here and there and was like, oh, this is fun, and but when I really got into it is, and you're gonna hear this probably quite a bit today in this room, but really probably the worst time ever in my life. I was going through a lot of stuff, and on Sci-Fi, I think they were airing it on at the time, the episode with Martha, where, well, this is past the spoiler point.
It's like 3. This is probably
so season 3, yes. Oh, there might be soft spoilers for those who have not seen the entire series, but we will refrain from any hard spoilers from last night's episode or last season. The one where he has his memory erased and is put in the pocket watch. And so, yes, the 2 episode, and because it was so, and David Tennant, he's just so full of, his doctor is so full of hope and faith in the human race in particular, and that at the time when I really started watching was exactly what I needed, because I had absolutely lost all hope in humanity, and it gave it back to me.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Can everyone hear me? Awesome. So I think I'm one of the earlier ones where I kind of found the show.
Caleb, what's your name?
Oh, my name? I assume we all know who I was.
Everyone here knows Caleb Buck. Yes.
Hi, I'm Caleb Buck.
His glitter beard is fabulous.
It's the most fabulous.
I did that for you guys.
We're calling it, I think, the TARDIS beard.
It is. That's what I asked
Oh, I'm
for.
sorry, I didn't know.
What makeup place was that? It was
Espionage.
Espionage. So if you like this and want to do
You
it
can
yourself,
get your beard glittered.
glittered out
For free.
Yes. So my first experience was in 1996, the Fox movie, which I remember at the time everyone hated, and I remember people hating it leading up to it. But I grew up in a town where everyone seemed to be able to watch in the 80s and early 90s old Doctor Who on PBS, but our PBS only showed like Are You Being Served, which is awesome, right? I know, Are You Being Served, it's great. No one ever wants to talk to me about that. And so I knew about Doctor Who because older people would mention it, and then AOL was a thing we had in 1996. And so, yeah, so you'd see like, things about Doctor Who, and it was always these little paragraphs and episode reviews. And so it was my first real experience, and I broke up with my high school girlfriend because she wouldn't get off the phone, and I wanted to watch it so bad. And it was awesome. And yeah, it led to me going to a local video store in Eugene, Oregon, where they actually had all the cassettes at that time, and I watched the old ones, and it was awesome. So if you guys hate that movie, just know it's one of my most favorite things. So don't bring that up around me.
Except for Are You Being Served?
I will cry. Yeah, Are You Being Served is great. Up to you.
My name is Jessica Dwyer, and I'm in the documentary because my sister and I built a TARDIS when I was around 6 or 7 and she was like 18 or 19, and we used the Doctor Who technical manual to spec for this thing. So I'm 40 now. That gives you an idea of how long ago this was. So my first Doctor Who experience would be the glorious and eternal Tom Baker. I was PBS, and I used to record with a tape recorder the audio because I was small and that was the only VCR type of thing we had was a tape recorder. And I'd set this close because sometimes the reception was crap and it would be so staticky. And then eventually, when David Tennant came around, I've always been a Whovian, but David Tennant kind of stole my heart as he did Minnie, a young lass, in the role. And once again, like Sarah said, it was one of those times in my life that I really needed someone, and you'll hear about it in this. And the doctor made house calls, and he was there for me. And yeah, and by the way, Peter Capaldi is a silver fox, and I love him.
They really should not have let us sit together because
No, it's a bad idea.
we like to, I will always and forever, every time I see a picture of Peter Capaldi on Facebook or anywhere, I will save it and I will send it to her because I know we're both having the same thoughts that I can't say because it's inappropriate.
We have to be PG.
We
Yeah,
do.
we are going to try to keep this a little PG-13, and that'll go for the questions afterwards as well.
I'll try.
She'll do her best. Know that she is trying.
Hard.
We'll just do looks at each other like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, I guess that means it's my turn now. I'm Nawal. My nickname is Z. Most people say it because my name is hard to say, I guess. I started watching Doctor Who 3 or 4 years ago, so not too terribly long ago. Again, it was a very strange place in my life. I think I talk about it in the documentary. I'd refused to watch it for years because I'm very much like John Locke from Lost. When people tell me to do something, I refuse just out of spite, or they're like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, I'm gonna. So for years I'd had people telling me, oh, you love Doctor Who, you love Harry Potter, you should so watch this show. And I shan't because you told me to. I will not. So finally I had a lot of time on my hands. I was like, I'm sorry. But I had a lot of time on my hands, and I had seen an episode on Sci-Fi. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Didn't really know what the show was. I turned it on, and it was in the middle of Father's Day with Eccleston and Rose. And I'm like, but I got really excited because I knew Billie Piper because I grew up listening to her music because I am a nerd. And so I saw her face. I'm like, she acts too. And then years later, it's when I had, all the time in the world, and I just laid in my bed and marathoned every single episode that was on Netflix, and it took me, it was up until the first half of the season with Smith and Karen and Arthur, so before they left, and I watched it in probably, I don't even know if I want to admit how fast I watched all of it. It was many years of Doctor Who in a very short period of time.
I've seen a meme that got David Tennant on it on the Blink television screen, and he says, "You've just watched 5 years of television in one day. That's not supposed to happen."
Yes, that is essentially what happened.
True.
But it was great. And now I host at the TARDIS room every Saturday, so if you want to come watch new episodes,
And it's a lot of fun.
come join me, and there's trivia in between.
Because everyone loves trivia. And I
The
feel
TARDIS
like-
room, it's 1218 North Killingsworth. Authentic British food and also Doctor Who, everything, everywhere.
Do you have fish fingers and custard?
Yes.
All true.
All right, well, we have a video to watch, so I'll keep it super short. Speaking of Blink, that is basically where I got started. I had friends talk about Doctor Who for forever, things where it's like, yeah, I should watch this. And it wasn't until somebody finally sat me down, I was like, yeah, okay, I can see where we're going. So, let's watch Inside a Blue Box.
A big giant disembodied head.
moment, we will go ahead and open the floor for questions. I definitely do not want to discourage any questions about the show, or if anybody wants to know, anything else about what inspired all of these fantastic builders that we have with us today. But I definitely would like to encourage questions about building TARDISes and any other sort of just fantastic Whovian lore that you guys would like to talk about. And then just once more as a request, let's try to keep the most recent Who stuff out of the picture here, because not everybody in the room is going to have cable and it's going to be completely caught up. So let's, I guess, just basically leave Capaldi off the table? Is where you guys want to keep it?
I'm not going to take that bait.
Sure.
You can talk
We'll
about
try.
you can talk about your love of him. We'll
There you
try
go.
and keep spoilers out of the question.
So, does anybody have any questions?
And
We have an open mic right behind you. Feel free to line up and ask all the questions you would like. You can adjust that.
Is this on?
It is on.
Okay. What's the best material to make a TARDIS out of?
Someone looking at me.
Well,
I would
when
say
I was
wood.
doing the research, people made them out of all kinds of things. The most common being wood. Caleb, do you have any insight into?
Yes, I have a lot of insight. I would say cardboard. And I'm waiting for laughter, but no. The problem with actually building a TARDIS is, especially if you live in the Pacific Northwest, and this is the one thing a lot of TARDIS builders talk about, if you have a garden shed or anything, you know the problems of rain, and so you're trying to weatherproof. Ours lives conveniently under a fairly high-pitched
Roof. You saw it in
roof.
the.
Yes, that's our
so
house. That's where we
it.
live.
So if you're looking for it.
Yes, and so to build something that big out of wood means you have to have a little bit of space. Even if you want to build something out of cardboard that's really large, you can put it in your living room. It's also cheaper and easier to work with.
I also feel like it depends on if you're planning on traveling with it
Yes.
and how you're going to build it, like the materials. I know a lot of people that come to a lot of conventions that have like collapsible TARDISes that they've built themselves, but when they put them all together, they look fantastic.
See, ours, which will be at the
Good.
Gene Comicon
Yeah.
in like 2 months, it does collapse down fairly flat. You saw me struggling putting it back together.
I made him tear it down and build it up again so I could film it.
Yeah, that was great.
He's a very, very good partner in crime.
When my dad built ours, he used hardcore wood. And it's not collapsible at all. It weighs a lot, and it has bookshelves in it. The other thing that he did, we actually went and got the signage done with engraved plastic that we stuck to the side to the letter of what was on the Baker TARDIS, because the TARDIS changes. I don't know if
Yeah, it does.
there are various versions
Quite
of
a
it.
bit. For something that's stuck,
I know the
keeps getting
signs,
bigger.
yeah, it gets updated and there's different things on the
More round things.
Yes, more roundels.
And
all the roundels.
Gary in the video, the gentleman from the video, he actually said that his fondest dream when he has the time and capacity to do it is to actually build a mold of a full-size TARDIS and cast it out of fiberglass, or so that he could produce them for people who might want them, but also that would be completely Pacific Northwest friendly. So.
And
Wow.
if you ever want to make it out of wood, slightly cheaper wood than nicer wood. And only because if you look at the TARDIS on the show, it's fairly rough. And you don't really realize that until you've spent all this money on wood and you're like, now I have to damage all this wood. And you're figuring out
Distress.
how best to distress wood when you could have just saved $100 on wood that's already rougher and unfinished.
Lesson learned.
Yes,
It
less
does
is
travel
more.
through time and space.
Yes. Less is more.
Pikachu. I choose
Hi,
you.
Pikachu.
Hi, that's loud. I was wondering, what does the scariest Doctor Who monster or enemy in your opinion?
Should we go down the
That
line?
is a good question.
Yeah, I'd go down the line.
Scariest in my opinion. Scariest scariest Doctor Who monster. Oh man, so many options.
Oh, you get to pick whichever, and then we option to not pick whatever you said. So I know you win this round.
Well, one of my favorite monsters, or villains, I guess, and one of the scariest, I think, is actually Cassandra. Because to think that we could get so caught up in our vanity is horrifying to me, and all too easily done. So,
We all have an aunt who's like Cassandra.
yes, absolutely.
We all have an aunt. Thank God I don't.
I do. I'm gonna go with the silence only because we've all seen them, right?
See what?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, it was such a fantastic thing because
I know, what all these
I
marks on
know.
the arms and wake up.
there's such beautiful mechanism of something that you see and you're afraid and it goes away, and is it still there, and did the show even resolve them? Are they in most episodes? Were they in all episodes right up until where they were released? They're good. I like them.
I'm gonna go old school. I do a series online on YouTube called A Journey Through Genres for Doctor Who. And one of the things I always call out is how Doctor Who did some stuff first before it was done in feature films and things like that. And when you see this as a kid, it creeps the heck out of you. And that was the Chronoids in Seeds of Doom. That predated John Carpenter's The Thing by like 3 years. And there are these creatures that are in these pods that once they infect you, you become one.
I remember
And
that.
you become this green covered thing that's just horrifying. And they kind of did that too in Ark in Space with, I think they're called the Werven, I don't know. And they're the blobs that, anything that takes over a human body creeps me out. And the Seeds of Doom, that's a classic Doctor Who, Tom Baker. If you haven't seen it, you should.
I think the empty child one would creep you out then.
Oh, are you my mommy?
That was creepy. That is very creepy.
In my opinion, it's the Vashta Narada.
They're also very
Ooh,
creepy.
good choice.
That is a good choice. I love villains, so it's hard for me to choose the scariest because I love scary things. I think my most recent favorite would have to be Missy, though. I think she's neat. She's just insane, and I love it. She's,
Evil Mary Poppins.
Yeah, she's been with the Doctor for both of their entire lives, and just to have that dichotomy between the Doctor, who's always fighting for good, and Missy, who's just bananas. There's nothing scarier than someone you've trusted your whole life that you know will kill you and everyone you love in any given moment for no reason at all.
I actually agree with that, yeah. It's absolutely.
Someone called me Missy last night at trivia, and I winked at them because it made me happy. My questions were very hard.
They were good.
Okay, I'm thinking about replacing my bedroom door with the doors of the TARDIS. Any
Yes.
tips on how to do that?
Do that.
Yeah, do that.
Just do it.
Do it.
Like,
Yes.
like any sort of
Do it.
materials I should go for, like what kind of paints I should get, stuff like that.
Or you want to do dual open?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They have the, I've been interviewing people, and I've interviewed more than are just in this documentary, and it's either really easy or really hard for them to find the paint color. But Caleb, that was pretty easy for you, right?
I think they have it
Yes.
online, don't
They do. You can
Online
find it.
they
The
have
official TARDIS color is on, I believe, the BBC
They'll give you
website.
the blue.
And just have them send you the paint. It's a Thomas More, I think, paint color.
Yeah, I mean, almost anyone can mix it. If you
Yeah.
go online, you can find either the hex place that makes paint, and you can just give them like the 6 letters and numbers. They'll make something similar. And also, we've painted ours multiple times, and no two TARDISes look alike, even when they're supposed to be the same blue. Even on the show, they change so aggressively. Some are grayer, some are more blue. So it's what you think is best.
Pick the one you like the most. Have somebody mix up the color for you. The signage is tough.
Because there's a lot of signage.
Because there's, and again, you have to choose, am I going to get this printed? Am I going to paint it by hand, which I've been painting by hand, and it takes quite a while, but
Do
it
you want
can be
the
done.
windows to have white trim?
So-
Do you want blue windows?
Figure out which TARDIS you want to do first.
Yeah.
That's really
I
work.
like go through. There's entire websites dedicated to the TARDIS through the ages.
Building the box and the doors is the easy part. It's all the signage and colors that's really
It's
yours.
detail.
What they're saying is you have options.
Yeah, and like I
Lots of
said,
There's
them.
no wrong one.
my
There's no
sister
wrong
had it
TARDIS.
engraved in the plastic with the stick back, kind of like, if you see a bathroom door with the little logo on it. She had that done where it was engraved, and I can't remember how much she paid. It was probably less than $100 for all the sign. And you just got to figure out if that's what you want to do. Okay, thank you.
I strongly recommend building a stencil and trying it a few times.
Yes.
Which is what we did with ours. I stenciled, cut it out.
What's up?
What's your guys' favorite Doctor Who companions?
Ooh.
I have this already, I know.
I know, mine. I'm like, got it.
I know. Mine.
Mine are Rose because I love the way she helps ground Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. That will always have a special place because he was so surly and was like, poof, humans. And then Rose came along and she's just the most human in the world and really grounds him. And then of course Donna Noble. Good.
Why
I'm
did you get
sorry,
two?
I love Donna Noble. She said companions, so you can.
All right, so I really like Donna Noble because I think especially in the new series, Donna Noble is the one who seems most inconvenienced to be a companion. Like most of the time, she's willing to just stop to go get a sandwich. I really like the episode where they're in the minivan driving across the Crystal Desert, and she doesn't want to go because she wants to go to the spa, and the Doctor has to confront the anti-language monster. And I just love it because she's like, "No, I'm just gonna stay at the spa today." And you're like, "No, it's planet." She's like, "No, we've been to planets. I'm fine." I love her. She's so very human. I mean, we're at a big convention. You see all this stuff, but there's people watching like football in like full Batman outfits out there. You're like, at a certain point in time, normalcy. And then, are we all naming two, or is that just you being named?
I named two. If you have one, a solid one, you should. Dr. Donna.
Yeah, I guess if I have to name a second, I'll just say Tegan.
You like the sexy one.
I know. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now and forever, Sarah Jane Smith.
That is a solid,
I'm sorry.
solid choice. I have all of my favorite companions actually represented on this here. I have a rose for Rose Tyler, 2 sunflowers, which have been blessed by Tony Curran, by the way. He kissed them at DragonCon. It was weird, but he's a very loud and delightful man. So there's that. So 2 sunflowers, one for Rory, one for Amy. Another sunflower that is bright orange and fiery for River Song. I have a zinnia for Sarah Jane, and the meaning behind zinnias is in memory of a lost friend. And then I have forget-me-nots for Donna Noble.
Amazing.
I love your dress.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted for a second thinking about Rory.
Understandable.
All right, so my question is a little bit weird. As someone said in the film, the thing that everyone goes for is run for your life. Well, someone like me, that's not exactly my forte, so I like to ask people, what do you think the Doctor would do instead, since I can't run? Would I just be patient 0 and die? Because that's what I usually think about. I don't like that answer, so someone else has to give me one.
He would just pick you up and run with you.
Yes.
He would just swoop you up and you would be on your way to safety and adventure.
Well, the Doctor could never leave someone behind.
Never.
Ever. He would figure something out, because that's what he does. That is his entire story, is always doing what needs to be done and absolutely refusing to not have the people he cares about next to him.
And in a way, I feel like he carries us all sometimes.
We have the 10-minute warning.
Just this once, everybody clear. What's your favorite 11th Doctor episode?
The doctor's wife.
The Doctor's Wife. I researched TARDISes. Of course, I'm going to pick the one where
Although
the
I-
TARDIS turns into a woman.
I love the Day of the Doctor. I love the whole thing with the War Doctor, and just there was so many feels that came out of that
All of
episode.
them.
All the feels. Tom Baker walking on screen. I burst into tears immediately when I heard his voice.
I did too.
There was no hesitation. I just went, and it just, but that was the same thing with the Doctor's Wife. That episode, that was the first time they spoke.
Yeah. If we're going off of episodes that made us cry, it would have to be The Angels Take Manhattan. I still can't watch that episode without ugly crying by myself. And I actually have left the room at the TARDIS room. They were playing that episode. I'm like, I have to leave for 15 minutes because I can't do
It's
this.
like the end of time with me.
But yeah, and I think the 11th hour, the first time you see him,
I've watched that episode.
it took me 2 weeks after Tennant regenerated to watch that episode, and then I did, and then it led to me meeting Matt Smith eventually and asking him to build a fort.
Which you still need to do,
I
right?
know, I did. I asked Matt Smith to build a fort with me, and he said yes. So next time he's in town, I'll have clothespins and a sack full of sheets. I'm gonna build a fort.
I also have to say, because I have to give some love to Capaldi, Mummy on the Orient Express.
That's not the 11th Doctor.
It ties in because it was mentioned before.
The thing is, I take from that episode that wonderful conversation he has with himself, where he slips into a little Tom Baker. If you didn't notice, there's a little Baker in there. That's what it's like in the Doctor's head all the time. They're all there. And I thought that was phenomenal, and I loved it so much.
It's a party and all of me is invited.
Yeah.
We do have about 8 minutes left and a few more questions. Caleb, did you have?
My favorite episode?
Yes.
Yes.
Want to share with the class?
But we have questions. I think we can ask me afterwards.
Okay, that's fair.
It's the one with the cold star. Remember that one in the psychic pollen? And they kept going between places? Remember that one? Because it was really good sci-fi.
Ooh, the lodger too.
Oh, that's a...
I don't like that one. What about the second one Neil Gaiman did, huh? The robotic turd?
Just talk to them, they're fine.
Let's yell at us.
What is your favorite Doctor Who quote from seasons
Favorite
new and
questions.
old? And if you can, could you do it in the accent?
Oh, Jesus.
I can name mine. Oh, I don't know if I can do his accent so well.
Try it, please.
I will do my just this once. Everybody lives. That's what I can do. I'm sorry, Christopher Lexington. Please don't hate me.
That was really good.
Okay.
Jeff, what's your
Oh,
favorite?
God, you're skipping to me.
No. I was remoderating. It's a hard question.
I would have to go, I can't do the accent because I'm not Scottish. But I loved his moment in the Boneless episode where he finally, he rips open that jacket and he's like, I'm the man who fights the monsters. And he just, that's when he owns it. He finally gets his moment, and I love that. I love that so much.
There's too many. That's what the Gallifreyan is. It's all quotes from the episode. But I guess I'll try. I will attempt for you since you asked. One of my favorites. Don't blink. Blink and you're dead. They're fast. Faster than you know. And then it was terrible. I'm sorry, but it's one of them.
I think it was quite good.
Oh, thanks. Or, oh yes!
Yeah, I also like the River song, You Watch Us Run.
Oh no, so many feels, all of the
So many
rhymes.
feels, so many feels.
Oh, Alex Kingston.
You watch us run.
Don't you dare. Not one line.
Sorry.
We could do this literally for days.
Apparently Caleb doesn't have a favorite quote because all of them are his favorite quotes. And
Yeah, let's go for that.
yeah, let's go with that. Also,
I didn't know
bow ties are cool. Yes.
Bow ties are cool.
If I may, could I say mine?
Yes.
Yes.
My eyebrows are going to secede and become their own nation of eyebrows.
Excellent.
Go right ahead.
Hello. So, have you guys ever had like an experience of Doctor Who where you just saw like an alien or something? You were like, what is that? Not really like super scary like Weeping Angels. I mean, just like an experience I had where I saw Chameleon for the first time. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the
I got this one.
You got this.
I got this one.
Let's go for it.
You guys have all seen the Trial of a Time Lord, right? Yeah, everyone. No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Remember in the first part of that, there's that robot, underground, with the big weird head. It was like that. Remember? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like how the BBC in the 80s just had like a preponderance of like weirdly shaped robot heads, and it's just big and weird.
And they just gave up.
Yeah, and it's the big bad villain, and people are treating it like it's respectable, and you're like, my God, look at that. That is so.
What?
Like
It was ridiculous.
it's so ridiculous, and he is a genocider.
I
And you're
know.
watching this guy, and he's
Like, really?
got those blonde guys with him, and you're like, wow,
That's
Like the
that's
creature,
insane.
the creature in the pit, that big square thing with like the tentacle, and you're like, what the hell?
Or the Absorbaloff.
Oh,
I know we don't talk about that
Oh my
episode,
God,
but
yes,
that
one.
that's
Oh.
like the number one for me that you look at it and you're like,
Wasn't that the one the kid made though? A kid
Yes.
designed that.
still,
And it,
children, why? For why? And you just, and my friend, I tried to get him to watch the show, and I was like, okay, where are you? And he was telling me, and I was like, oh yeah, you don't know, you can skip that one. That's
I
fine.
love that episode. I actually used it in one of my essays about this film.
it was
Ooh, or the dream
It's
crabs.
called Love and Monsters.
Love and Monsters, yeah.
The dream crabs were weird.
I would have to say mine was the Slovene when they're in their people suits and they're just like hooting it up. And I'm
The
like,
best thing, the best thing I have ever heard in my entire life about the Slovene was somebody called them baby-faced fart monsters. I was like, well, yeah.
Appropriate.
We've got about
Yeah.
3 minutes left and 2 more questions.
All right,
We can do this. Have you ever thought about making any other things like canines or Daleks? My sister actually had I keep saying this, a two-spec Tom Baker scarf made. And when it's rolled up, it is literally that big. Wow. And he signed it. She took it to a convention in the 1980s where he was in St. Louis, and he wasn't signing. He basically went up and went, "Hi, I love you and Doctor Who," and he's like, "Hi, I'm the doctor, bye," and that was it. And then she went up and showed him this thing, and he went, "Okay," and he put a little TB on it for her, and ended up writing her a letter from the hotel that same day and sent it to her, and she cried. But yeah, she also knows a gentleman that has a working canine too. I've seen them, they're awesome.
Victor is actually working, he's not here today, but he's working on building a TARDIS for the TARDIS room. I have the only key, and he will be building me at some point a fully functioning Dalek that I can fit inside, because I do burlesque in Portland, and I've done a few Doctor Who sets now, and that is one of my ultimate goals. So we're going to
silence burlesque.
I do that.
Yep, people build all sorts of amazing things. I have seen so much cool stuff.
All right.
All right.
Okay, mine should be fairly simple. So, Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood, Big Finish audio stuff, or whatever else, like expanded universe stuff. What's your favorite?
Torchwood. Torchwood!
I love Big Finish. I'm not gonna lie, I love what they did with the Eighth Doctor and Dark Eyes. All of that is so amazing. And what's even cooler is when you find other Doctor Who actors show up, like David Tennant was in an episode, in one of the, I think it was an Eighth Doctor as well, but he wasn't a doctor. But I think Big Finish is amazing. They kept it alive in the dark days when there was no show.
I would have to go with Torchwood as well. I love that show. It's brilliant. And
Children of the Earth!
Russell T Davies is Bay.
I pretend that Torchwood stopped after the 4th season.
Wait, there's only 4 seasons of Torchwood.
Touche.
Thank you.
Like-
Was it 3rd season, you mean? The one that has Kira in it? DSM? That's 4th.
Captain James Hart.
Ooh. So You gotta come. She can't control herself.
I'm sorry, James Marsters.
But I would go Torchwood. I've been meaning to get into the Big Finish audio. I know they're planning on bringing back Torchwood through Big Finish.
Yep.
So that's going to be very, very, very neat. And I'm pretty sure that everybody's on board to return too.
Yeah, they also do an amazing Dark Shadows series too with the original actors for those of us who love old school ABC soap operas with vampires in them.
And I have one more question for the class.
Is it about Torchwood?
No.
I got a lot to say about Torchwood.
Well, we have like 1 minute. So with this minute, can you please explain to me how you made your TARDIS bigger on the inside?
Is that just to me?
No, that's like a physics question. I want to know how you did it.
Seriously? Well, do you understand anything about like how matter works,
Yeah.
space and stuff?
I want to know how you plan on doing this.
How I plan
yes,
to?
Yes, please.
Honestly, we're gonna do it via love.
That is how TARDIS.
And I'm not allowed inside of it, so. So I'm gonna assume she has awesome adventures when she's shut the door and I'm outside. It's great. It's just for her. I don't know if you got that from the video. It's not for me. It's just for you. Because you're gonna build that desk that looks like a console in there. Yeah.
Well, I've got plans. Yeah.
You've got big
I've got big
plans.
plans.
I think our big plans, yeah. Big plans can get bigger.
Well, we have to wrap.
I would like to thank everybody for coming. My plan is to make this into an even bigger project. So keep your eyes peeled. It's on YouTube. If you loved it and want to share it with people, you can just search for it under Inside a Blue Box. Please share it around, share the love, get everybody involved. Thank you.
And don't forget, everyone loves Doctor Who. They just don't know it yet.
There we go.